a movie.
Ooh, okay. Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are going to be reviewing, in the latest review, The Phoenician Scheme, the newest movie from Wes Anderson. I guess in comparison of the other Wes Anderson movies I've seen, I haven't seen all of them. I'm not perfect. I actually just bought Isle of Dogs, so I'm gonna watch that. That's probably the next one. But this movie, it mainly follows Zsa Zsa Corda, played by Benicio del Toro, this wealthy businessman who keeps cheating death, basically. Not really in a Final Destination kind of way, but just like people keep trying to assassinate him and they are failing. So after the sixth and latest attempt, he appoints his only daughter as the heir of his fortune and his demise, and they embark on their next enterprise, basically, their next big deal. And throughout this whole thing, they are being chased down by different like tycoons and people that he's worked with, different assassins who are trying to kill him, and also like different governments trying to hunt him down and arrest him. That is pretty much the premise of this movie. While they're going everywhere, you're seeing a bunch of different famous actors because it is a Wes Anderson movie. Uh, I actually did really like, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Basically, in this, a lot of at least this past couple of movies, at least when I say couple, I really mean The French Dispatch and Asteroid City. Those were pretty big ensemble pieces. The Phoenician Scheme is very straightforward, at least compared to those two. It is probably the most plot heavy, not really plot heavy movie, but this is not a story within a story kind of thing in the way that Asteroid City was a very meta thing where it was a TV broadcast that was with a play about a play, and they were actors in the play that they showed. I did not do a good job explaining that. And this also isn't an anthology feature, which The French Dispatch was. And yeah, this is pretty much the closest thing that we have gotten to a normal movie, at least in terms of like, this is what the story is, here's what we're doing, not really a bunch of messing around with the plot stuff until then. But this is also not really an ensemble piece. There are really three main actors in this, and it's Benicio del Toro, who is the main guy, Zsa Zsa Corda. His daughter Liesel, which is I forgot to loop that. His daughter Liesel, played by Mia Thrappleton, who, funny enough, I did not know this until after I watched it. That's actually Kate Winslet's daughter, and Michael Cera. And I'll get to Michael Cera in a little bit. I feel like I'm going to echo some sentiments about the how Michael Cera is being received in a Wes Anderson movie, but pretty much everybody else in this is in a few scenes. Some of them just really pop up in the movie and have one line. Like Willem Dafoe. I mean, he's worked with Wes Anderson so many times at this point. He's only in he's in like maybe a few scenes, but he only has one line in one of them. So it's this kind of on that kind of thing with the supporting cast. But at least for the other Wes Anderson movies I've seen, there is that quirky attitude here with this, but it is actually a little bit darker compared to some of the other movies. There's a little bit of gore in this actually. I mean, it's not like it's a horror movie or anything, but it actually the opening scene actually has a little bit of gore, and that really surprised me, and it didn't take me out of the movie. I was just really taken back by it. I really got to fix my hair. But now we are pretty much seeing this very straightforward story almost. I really, really enjoyed Benicio del Toro in this. I can't remember off the top of my head if he was in any other Wes Anderson movies except for The French Dispatch and this, but he was a great pick to lead a Wes Anderson movie, especially one that is fairly serious. I mean, still, it's Wes Anderson. You know what to expect if you're getting into it, but it is a little bit darker in some cases, and I liked that little, not really a twist, but there is that little, like, it's a little bit edgier. Not in like the cringe way of like edgier, but it's a fairly more serious story. And I really appreciated that. But now, in terms of, did I loop this? I did. I'm trying to do this because I'm still trying to piece some of my thoughts together with this. because as the movie goes on, and it's not a long movie, it's around an hour 40, maybe it's a little bit longer than that. But as this movie goes on, I feel like just so much of this kind of gets lost. And it's not like the plot gets overly complicated. It's nothing like that. I was able to follow the story. But there are more and more characters that keep getting added to the story that it's not that it's hard to follow. It's just there is a good amount happening. A lot of it doesn't really add up in terms of importance. And I get it that this is a Wes Anderson movie. You are seeing all of these actors just pop up because, it's Wes Anderson. Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Scarlett Johansson. I actually think Riz Ahmed did a pretty good job in this as well. But there's a lot of fat in this that I think should have been trimmed. One of my favorite things that Wes Anderson has done is actually the short films that he did adapting Roald Dahl short like novellas that he did that went on Netflix, which give those a physical release. I really enjoyed those. Funny enough, Benedict Cumberbatch actually hops over from working with Wes Anderson the first time in those shorts to this, and he is one of the characters in this that was really odd. I'm sure you've seen the trailer. It's looped a couple times now at the very end where he has that huge beard. And everything with his character, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. But either way, I gotta jump over the Michael Cera with this one. And pretty much every review that I've checked out and just to see like how people are feeling about it is that he's the best part of the movie. And he is certainly interesting for a lot of it. He has a Swedish accent in this. I think it's a Swedish accent. Or maybe that's what they say. Or Norwegian. It's either Swedish or Norwegian. But it's in that general area. And he sounded so goofy in this. And that I was thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, am I going crazy? There's no way people think this is good. Which also, again, feels like an interesting thing. I don't know. I felt like I was going crazy watching it. And then the character has a shift where they do a reveal with Michael Cera's character. And I immediately got, oh, okay, this is the good part. I get why people are liking it this much. But it takes a little bit to get through to that character reveal. And yeah, Michael Cera was a great pick to be in a Wes Anderson movie. I know, it's fascinating to me. Gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent. It's fascinating to me that Wes Anderson's style has permeated so much, like just in general, that you can specifically pick it out and go, I want an actor to try that. I think that's very, very interesting. And especially because I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, Michael Cera. That's an interesting pick for a Wes Anderson movie. And it worked. And I would want to see what else they could do together. And honestly, the same went for Benicio del Toro. This is maybe, I don't know if it's my personal favorite performance of his across the board, but he is really good in this. But just, there's so much fat around this movie. Like, it feels long for a relatively short movie. It's an hour 40. It did feel long. It dragged when we got into the second half. And that's why I'm not as high on it. I think a lot of the quirky humor and the enthusiasm of it, which personally I think there's not really that much enthusiasm here. I think that's what's made the other things stand out to me. Like my personal favorite movies of his are like Grand Budapest Hotel. I know that's like an easy one, but also The French Dispatch, and maybe Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's my top three right there. I don't know if it's in that order, but that's what I thought of. Those three movies have a sense of enthusiasm, and most Wes Anderson movies I've seen do too. And that's what kind of elevates them over some other movies that are trying to have similar plots to those movies. And the Phoenician Scheme doesn't really have that. It's not like it's a detriment to this movie. But I kind of came out of this movie when the lights came on in the theater feeling nothing. I didn't really feel anything from this movie. And I feel like that is the biggest weakness for a Wes Anderson movie. Cuz even with Asteroid City, a movie that really did have to grow on me. I remember seeing it in theaters. There is a video history on my old channel where I did not like Asteroid City the first time I saw it. I didn't like it at all actually. And then when it came out on digital and streaming, I gave it another shot because I know my other friends really liked it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this another shot. I'm going to see how it goes. And it clicked for me. And so I would say I don't think the Phoenician scheme is going to be on that level where if I choose to watch it again, which who knows, I probably will, I don't think it's going to be on that level where it raises it up so high that I would really love it the second time. But it's also not as bad for me to go, oh, maybe I do need to, maybe I didn't get it. I think I got it this time. I will say, I'm not going to spoil it, but I really did like, well, it might be my favorite part of the movie that isn't like the actors. The use and portrayal of the afterlife in this. I thought that was very stunning. And again, that was the next thing of, oh, Wes Anderson's trying something new. And I thought that was very cool. That's where Willem Dafoe mainly comes in. He's plays someone in the afterlife. I'm not even sure if they credit who plays, God, because they show God. I'm not even sure if they credit the actor that plays him, so I'm not going to say who it is. But it was such an interesting left field pick that which yeah, it's someone that who's worked with Wes Anderson before. I'm not going to say specifically, but it was such an interesting pick and it really won me over. And all that stuff really won me over. The using inverted colors for some of it too was also really interesting. But on top of that, that's probably the thing that stood out to me the most in terms of the actual filmmaking. But now I feel like my big question is obviously Wes Anderson is going to do whatever he wants. I know I don't like to talk about box office in reviews, but I don't think I've ever seen a director not care about the box office more than Wes Anderson. He's going to keep making movies, and honestly, I'm going to be there for them, even if I'm not really high on the Phoenician scheme. But I'm wondering in the back of my head of like because he has the money to make it. He has like a billionaire friend. I don't remember who it is, but he's also involved with Criterion, stuff like that. And this guy pays for a lot of his movies. So I don't want to get into the not politics. I don't want to get into the business aspect of this, but it feels like I want Wes Anderson to go for more of a change here. Here, I'm gonna actually pause it there because this review is kind of wrapping up, and I'll also take down the copyright because this is my big takeaway from the movie. I did like this movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I'm kind of waiting for the next big swing from Wes Anderson because yes, he's definitely not going to change his style. Like we know that he's been doing this for so long that I even if he wasn't doing it for long, I'm not one to tell him what to do. I don't think anyone that's not Wes Anderson would tell Wes Anderson what to do. But where do we go from here? I want a next like stylistic shift. It's probably going to be it's probably going to look the same because I don't like the stigma of every Wes Anderson movie is the same because it's not. It's not. You can't watch The Phoenician Scheme and Fantastic Mr. Fox. You can tell that they were directed by the same guy, but they are definitely not the same story. And I just think I want another shakeup, which I don't know if that's going to happen. That's fine. Obviously, I've said I'll be there, but I don't know. I want a shakeup from Wes Anderson, and I think just because of that and how I feel about this movie in general, I think I'm gonna settle with a B for the Phoenician Scheme. I think that's a pretty fine enough rating for me. I liked it, didn't love it, but there is still some good stuff here, like especially the performances from probably that core trio of Benicio del Toro, Mia Threppleton, and Michael Cera. But it just gets bogged down as it moves on, especially as the movie starts to wrap up, that it is just one of the weaker Wes Anderson stories. Again, if you're here for the direction, if you're here for that, that is still, you know, gold stars across the board. Like that is there. If and I guess if you're not a fan of Wes Anderson, if you've never really been a fan of his style, this is not going to be the movie that would change that. I would personally recommend like Fantastic Mr. Fox or Grand Budapest Hotel. Just you out of the ones I've seen at least. But like it's more Wes this is more Wes Anderson. If you're not a fan of Wes Anderson, this is not going to change your mind, but if you are a fan of Wes Anderson, you're going to have a good time with it. So, I'm sticking with that. And that is going to be the end of the video.